Welcome to this energy healing group session that we're going to be doing. Really quick about me because many of you are meeting me for the first time. So I am a Reverend Doctor, and I am also a personal and spiritual mentor, a speaker, and a course creator and developer. And I help you accelerate your spiritual and personal development. And I'm also the author of The Secret to Spiritual Awakening is Not Religious, it's Physics. And so we come from the perspective that this awakening that's happening, it's already us. And if we look to science and nature, we can see how science and nature moves. We create a model and then we apply it to ourselves. And so we do have a social learning Facebook group called Heartfelt Awakening. And it's a community where we host, a regular masterclass called the Transformation Lab. And in it, we learn the technique that we're going to be demonstrating here in the group training today. And so today we're all kind of coming here together from the perspective, first of all, that there's nothing that needs to be fixed. And I know we're seeing what's happening in our external world, and it's pandemonium, it feels like, right? So it might be bringing up unresolved issues from the past, parts of us that are triggered when we're seeing what's happening in our world. Now we're triggered and we're projecting out unresolved past trauma experiences. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at the pain scale of 1 to 10. And really quick, what that is, hospitals use it. It's 1, hardly any pain at all, or even 0, no pain at all, none whatsoever, to 10, oh my gosh, I'm in a painful situation, it's affecting me, I'm suffering, something has to change, something's got to give, something's got to go. So when you're in this state, it creates parts of us that are waking up that are connected to past experiences related to fear, anger, anxiety, worry, shock, triggered, reactive. So what we're going to be doing today as a group, on a group level, is we're going to be focusing our precious gift, our focus, awareness, and attention, and we're going to be putting it on that number. So if you're here in this group energy work, you want to help us not only reduce that number within yourself. If you're experiencing this fear, this anger, this uncertainty, this wanting to panic kind of feeling, this is the right place to be, because we are going to be coming from the perspective that you are the healing team. You are the healing team, and there's nothing that needs to be fixed or changed, only integrated. So what I'd like for you to do right now, and utilize the chat. If you need to find the chat, you can find on the bottom of the Zoom, there might be a ... and there might be an option there for chat, and it will open up the chat window. So as you're sitting and checking in with yourself and what you're experiencing in your world, where are you on the pain scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to what's happening in our world? Are you experiencing fear, anxiety, worry, anger, shock, or even surprised by your own reactions? Where are you on the pain scale? So let me know in the comments where you are. Take a moment to check in. And so while you're here, it's going to be a reminder to disconnect. So disconnect from any distracting noises, disconnect from any Facebook or social media. Your attention, your focus, awareness must be here, because when we start doing this work, what we're going to be doing is creating your healing team. We're going to be teaching the subconscious, or this intelligence, this superconscious that you are. We're going to be teaching this part of you how to do this work. And then we're going to begin to do this work together as a whole, as a collective. And then once where our focus, awareness, and attention is put off on something else, then we're no longer doing the work. So we want to make sure that we're present, fully present. It doesn't matter if you're here live, and if you're here live, thank you for being here. And it doesn't matter if you're watching this later, because there's a part of us that is connected to time and space, our body, the material part of us, but then there's a metaphysical part of us. We can't see this part of us. It's not connected or a slave to time. It sees all time. It sees the space of variations or the matrix of all possibilities. So as you come in, find a spot where you can relax, sit, even if you just need to listen, to bring your energy and your focus awareness here collectively. Very good. So again, we're coming from the perspective that nothing needs to be fixed, only integrated. And so as a collective, and I see that, taking a deep breath, I'm a 7, I'm angry. Jerry's a 5, Rowan's a 5.5 or a 5.3. I think I need stronger glasses. So being above a 5 means it's a pretty painful situation. It's affecting your quality of life. It's affecting your hormonal, your endocrine system, creating chemical reactions of fight or flight. And these chemical reactions constantly being stirred up in our system creates more and more stress, which creates more and more inflammation. This is all scientifically documented, this process or this cycle of stress. And so as we begin to sit down and become aware of where we are right now, check in with where you are. And so we have a 7, very angry, taking deep breaths, a 5, a 5.5, checking in where you are. And this is really important to bring your focus, attention, and awareness inside, because the outside world is going to show us what's already happened. We're not here to focus in on what's happening in the outside world. What we're here to do is to focus inside, focused in on our fear, our anger, our anxiety, our uncertainty, putting a number to that. What happens is we begin to connect with the whole healing team. Your healing team consists of 3 things: your conscious awareness, the unconscious, these are things happening in the background that you're completely unaware of. And then the subconscious. The beauty of the subconscious is it can see both. Whereas the conscious awareness can't see what's happening in the unconscious. The unconscious can bleed into and take over our personality when we're triggered, right, in our conscious awareness. But this subconscious part of you, there's many names for it. Some people call it God, intelligence, source, superconscious. This is a part of you that is the unseen part of you. It's the part of you that animates your body, right? I call this my meat suit. It is the energy that animates this body. And so we're going to be connecting with this powerful, the source of your power, part of you, and integrating this intelligence part of you with your healing team. But here's the thing, we got to teach it how to do this work. And we teach it how to do this work through a metaphor. And we're going to be going over the metaphor once all of the parts that wake up agree to integrating with the healing team. So are you ready to get started? What I do, I'm just a guide. I am here as your guide, and I'm also here for selfish reasons, because every time I do this work individually, one-on-one, or in a group setting, I have deep, deep-rooted collective parts that wake up and are integrated. So it creates more space within me. So what I'd love to do is get started, and I use this communication. I use a pendulum, and I'll put it through a white background. So you can see this pendulum. Yeah, I have a dark background because this is a bloodstone, and it has the divine feminine The divine feminine is just the negative part of a complete circuit. We have a positive and a negative. Positive is masculine, the doer. The negative holds space. So without those two, we wouldn't have electricity. We wouldn't have energy. So this is the divine feminine, the negative part. So what we're going to be doing is holding space for these parts in our unconscious, collective unconscious, to begin to wake up. But first, before we do any of that, let's get permission. So as you come in and we begin to do this work on a collective level, what we're doing is we're setting up our healing team. And again, our healing team consists of our conscious awareness, the unconscious, and this intelligence, the subconscious or the superconscious that you are. So permission to create the healing team. And as if you can see, I'm getting a big fat yes. So your energy is collectively coming in. And this is just a tool that I use to read the energy. I pre-programmed it, and if you'd like to learn more, we do have a course on that. I pre-programmed that and what we're communicating and what I'm looking for. So I'm getting a big fat yes, I have your permission. So just sit for a moment with that permission. Connect with yourself. I'm going to take some water. Drink water because water is an energy conductor. Nice. So with your permission, moving along now, what I'd like for you to do is focus in on that 7, that anger, that 5, that uncertainty, that anxiety, worry, shock even, fear of what's going on in your external world. Focus in on that number wherever you're at, 7, 8, 9, wherever you're at, focus in on that number. What's going to happen is there are parts within the unconscious that are waking up and actually being triggered. So these parts that are waking up as we're looking at the fear, we're feeling the fear, we're focused in on the fear. It's a 7. I'm getting angry. I'm feeling this anxiety. I have deep uncertainty. I don't know what the future holds. It feels like I should be hoarding and buying things and going out and behaving in such ways that I need to hoard and I need to protect myself from something. It feels like something big is coming. So subconscious, we are waking up all of these unconscious parts from past trauma, past experiences that have not yet been integrated and are now waking up because of what I'm experiencing in this material world. And subconscious, gather all of these parts that are waking up, all these parts that are waking up from the past, even from pre-birth, maybe even from past lives. All these parts that are waking up that are connected to this fear, connected to this anger, connected to the worry, connected to the anxiety. Are you willing to integrate your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team while releasing the reactions, the projections, the ideas, beliefs, unhealed parts, releasing them to the ocean and integrating your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team? I'm getting a big fat yes. Now, are there any parts that do not want to integrate their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team? And I'm getting a yes. Now, I don't know who this is. I'm just getting a yes. So these parts that do not want to integrate with the healing team, are you willing to have a conversation with the healing team and the subconscious so you can make a conscious choice to release the reactions, release the emotions, release the anger and the fear while integrating your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? So I'm getting a big fat yes. So all of these parts are ready to integrate with the healing team, and the healing team is ready to receive you. But now we have to teach the subconscious how to do the reprogramming work, because this is a process that we teach the subconscious. So it looks like this, and we teach it through a metaphor. And it looks like a soccer field or a football field, if you will. And imagine a big football field that is completely organized. You see the white lines, you know where the goals are, you know where the middle line is. It's completely organized. So you can see and look down. It looks completely organized. But what's happening in the unconscious, these parts that are running in the background that we're not aware of, and then these parts that get triggered, boom, there it is, a part that's triggered, and now I'm behaving in ways that I have no control over. I might be triggered. I might be having a panic or anxiety attack because I know it's something that happened in the past that is now getting triggered in my now with my now experience. So this past experience is bleeding into my now experience. So as we begin to wake up these parts then now can choose. And now the subconscious sees these parts that wake up as holes in the playing field. Now, we might not be able to see these parts. We just see a playing field. But the subconscious can see what we're seeing, and it can see up close and all of the entangled web connections between what we're focusing in on, that 7, anger, that 8, anxiety, all of the things we're focused in on, the connection, the entangled web to all of these unconscious parts that are waking up in the unconscious. So as the subconscious sees these parts, these connections, and it sees it in perfect order and in perfect sequence, it begins to do the work of reprogramming. And as it reprograms these parts, it releases the energy to it, that reaction, that response. It also releases beliefs, programming, ideas that were maybe given to you, planted seeds in you that no longer serve you now, such as money doesn't grow on trees. So you might have that deep-rooted something idea that was given you, and it's affecting your now because you have that belief that keeps waking up every time you come into money, that you have to work really hard for it, and it doesn't just come naturally. So once these are released and it's reprogrammed, all of these parts that release the reaction now have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And the subconscious integrates this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding with the whole playing field, with the wholeness that you are, your whole healing team. It does it in such a way that you don't feel the past emotions, the past reactions, because it does the processing, then it rests. Then it processes, then it rests. So many times I work with people and we work on something really, really deep. I'll tell them, go take a nap. And just yesterday I had one of my clients say, oh my gosh, I just woke up from a 4-hour nap and I feel like I could go back to bed. So she was processing on such deep levels. So as the subconscious sees these holes, it begins like a feather, begins to fill in these holes. So now your subconscious knows how to do the work. So let's continue with this healing process. So subconscious, you see all these parts waking up. We are focused in on the fear right now. We're looking at it right now. It's a 7. We feel anger coming up. We feel uncertainty coming up, fear coming up, anxiety, shock even, disbelief, all of these things that we are focused in on, and it's affecting our lives. It's a 7, it's an 8 on the pain scale. It's causing pain and suffering within our mind, body, and spirit, affecting our breath. So subconscious, as you see all of these parts in perfect order and in perfect sequence, do a massive rewrite on these parts, please. Releasing the reactions, releasing the old programming, the ideas and beliefs that were planted, letting those go to the ocean because they no longer serve us, but keeping the precious knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of each of these parts, and integrating all of the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team. And the healing team is receiving you. Very nice. So it might have seemed like a lot. We've been going only 22 minutes. So what I'd like for you to do is check in. You've said a 5, a 7, numbers up high. Where are you now? I'm seeing a chessboard in my head now, oddly enough. Yeah, a chessboard, making moves in perfect sequence. Very good. So check in. Where are you now with what you're experiencing right now in your world? If you are experiencing fear, anger, anxiety, worry, because I'm going to tell you something. It's not what we're seeing now. What we're seeing now is done. It's happened. We can't change what we're seeing now. The only way to change is energetically first. So you're at a 5, Kathy. And where did you start? You were a 7. Very good. You went from a 7 to a 5. Now, Kathy, what I'd love to do is I'm going to unmute you. Is that okay? Let's have a conversation. So, Kathy, I unmuted you, and you went from a 7 to a 5. What makes it a 5? Let's talk to this 5. Why is it a 5? Let this 5 express itself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, I'm isolated. I've been isolated since the middle of January, being sick over here by myself with 3 cats. So having this come down on top of everything else while I'm trying to recover from a serious medical problem has scared me, because I'm trying to do work in healing physically, and then this happens where I really shouldn't be leaving the house nor going to my mother's, who lives next door, but everyone else around her is, and I find it very stressful. I feel like nobody's really paying attention to what Governor Cuomo has said, for one thing, except me. And I won't go to the grocery store, and I've had to reach out to another app to have it delivered to my house. So it's just a matter of that. And then thinking at my age, I may never recover from this financially. So all those things go through my head.
And you're still at a 5.
Well, talking about it definitely didn't help.
So where would you say you are right now with all of this that you just shared?
Oh, I could be back up to a 7 in a flash. So this is going to take some practice.
Okay, so I'm going to talk with your words, and that's the beauty of this work, because we meet weekly and do this work weekly. And so the beauty of this work, because it's coming from your unconscious, your words. And so when we use your words, even more parts wake up. So we're not here to fix anything, but we're here to begin to create some internal changes. So you went from a 7 to a 5, but now that you're starting to focus in on more of it, it might even start going up. So let's start doing the work so you can have a really nice experience of feeling the energy shift first. So subconscious, we're still at a 5, and we may even easily go back up to a 7 or higher now that we began to have words to express what this 5 is and what's still brewing in the background unconsciously. I'm feeling isolated, and since January, I've been alone with my 3 cats, and now this on top of everything else while trying to recover from a very serious medical scare. I'm sick, and I've been sick for a long time, and I've isolated myself, and I shouldn't be, leaving the house or even visiting my mom, who lives right next door. And yet what I'm seeing, everybody else is, and they should be isolating themselves. And that right there makes me even feel more stressful, and I can easily shoot up way past the 7. And I feel like nobody is paying attention except me. And I'm here, and I'm having to have, groceries delivered to me. And I'm oscillating between a 5 and a 7, and it's still very, very painful. And I know there's parts that are now waking up, these parts that are having reactions and responses to my current situation, because I know I'm never going to be able to recover from this financially too. And I know there's so many people that have been hit hard financially and lost their jobs, and this creates even more stress and more fear. So subconscious, all of the parts that are waking up related to this fear and what's happening with my now, and waking up all of these unconscious parts that are waking up, all of this uncertainty, all of what I'm seeing, this injustice and unfairness. I'm following the rules and other people are not. All of those parts that are waking up, subconscious, gather all of these parts, and all of these parts that are waking up. Are you willing to integrate your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team? And I'm getting a yes, a little bit of a polarization. So a polarization means there are two beliefs, opposing beliefs happening at the same time. So I'm going to unmute you and talk to you about that. Can you tell me about this polarization, that there are two opposing beliefs happening at the same time? And something of my words triggered it.
I'm definitely in a fight or flight mode, which I've been in most of my life. So this is definitely triggered that fight or flight mode on top of being sick all this time. I've got to let it go. I just told everyone in my family, don't call me for a few days because I need to stop being angry and get myself under control. I can't control other people. I can't control other situations. And my son, who is passed, just told me I have to let go. So I have to let go of everybody else's stuff. I have to just take care of me.
Excellent. So we're going to add to that. That helped with the polarization. So subconscious, there was some polarization. You know, I'm never going to recover from this financially, and I'm in a constant state of fight or flight. And this has triggered me and has triggered a never-ending IV drip of fight or flight hormones. And I know, you know, on top of being sick, I'm getting messages from even those beyond this realm saying, you gotta let it go, you gotta let it go. And yet it's here and I don't know how to let it go. There's this fight or flight happening. And now there are parts that are waking up, wanting to either fight and wanting to either fight, maybe from past experiences, because this current reality is triggering so much and adding so much stress that fight or flight has become my regular diet. So as these parts begin to wake up and want to fight or flight, are you willing to share your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding with the healing team? So I'm getting a big fat yes, no polarization this time. Are there any parts that do not want to share your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding? So I am getting a yes, a little yes. So these parts that are unsure and not sure about sharing your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, are you willing to have a conversation with the healing team and the subconscious so you can make a knowledgeable choice? Yes. So please have a conversation with the healing team. And once you have that conversation with the healing team, are you willing to integrate your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team while releasing the reactions, releasing the fight or flight, releasing the emotions, releasing the judgments, releasing all of those to the ocean, and integrating your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding with the healing team? I'm getting a yes. And the healing team is receiving you. So let's just take a moment to sit. The mind, I'm going to give you a heads up. The mind is going to want to wrap itself around this, thinking there's nothing happening. But then all of a sudden, you'll feel a lightness. You might feel a warmness, a tingling sensation. You might feel nothing, but you might feel an opening. So just sit with this. And I'm going to give you a little exercise to do that we use for an exercise that we use for activating our visual ability and activating our source, the source of our energy, which is in the back. It's like opening up your angel wings. So using your creative imagination, your creativity and imagination, imagine you have angel wings and they're just opening up, unfolding, like they were folded really, really small, and now they're opening up. Just sit with this, feel this opening. Imagine this opening happening while the processing is happening. So I'm just getting a flush of heat. That tells me processing is happening. Very good. And just sit with this. And now check in. Where are you now with what we've been focusing in on, this uncertainty, this fear, this anxiety, this anger, this worry, this shock? Where are you now? Go ahead and use the chat, or if you want to unmute, I can unmute you.
Under 5.
Under a 5?
Yeah.
So can you check in a little more? Ask for a clear number.
Okay. I'm getting a 2.
Nice. So from a 7 to a 2. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to anchor this. How's everybody else doing? You can feel free to unmute yourself if you want to add something.
I'm down to about a 3 now. I was about 5.5 to start with.
Nice.
And I was just sort of imagining my angel wings just surrounding the entire planet and just raining down the healing light.
Nice. How are you? I just unmuted you. Jerry, okay, you're at a 2 now. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. 2.
Very nice. And where did you start? You were at?
About 7, 8.
About a 7, 8. Nice. Nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to anchor this work, because we went from a 3 to a 2, down to a 3 to a 2, from 7 above a 5. This is huge. So we want to continue doing this work. So subconscious, thank you. Thank you, thank you. We came and we started together as a group, coming together with a 7, 8 when it comes to anger, fear, anxiety, the works. And now we're down to a 2 or a 3. Thank you, subconscious. Thank you, healing team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And subconscious, you have our permission to continue doing this processing as parts begin to wake up. You have our permission to continue asking these parts, do you want to share your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with the healing team, while releasing the reactions, the fear, the anger, the programming, the beliefs and ideas that are no longer serving, the past experiences and traumas that are connected and waking up and being triggered because of what's happening in your mind now. You have our permission to continue doing this processing work. Yes. And continue integrating these parts and asking for these parts to willingly integrate, and then working with those parts who might not want to integrate because they're unsure. They might be afraid to die. They might be afraid of losing something important. So have that conversation with them, that all of their wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is going to be integrated with the healing team, and the healing team is going to share all of their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so that we have a nice, even playing field for the wholeness of our personality, so that we can be present no matter what's happening in our external world. And then remember to start with the energy inside and begin to create a vision, not only our individual visions of wanting peace, wanting financial stability, abundance, prosperity, getting along, creating that vision individually, but also creating that vision collectively, seeing more self-sustained communities working together instead of against each other, creating the vision we want to see more of. But it's got to start inside us individually first. So as these parts begin to wake up, you have our permission to continue processing and integrating these parts into the healing team. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So check in once again. So the world is one of my favorite. I come from a Christian background, so I don't force it on anybody, but there are sometimes scriptures that just all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, that scripture makes complete sense now. So the scripture that comes to mind is the world and its desires are passing away, but there is something that does not pass away. And this part that we're working with, super intelligence that we are, this is how we're all connected to each other. And so as we create that space, this is when our external reality will begin to change. And so this is my intention of sharing this work, especially in a time like this. So I want to kind of advertise a little bit. I want to let you know, if you're new, we do have a social learning community on Facebook, Heartfelt Awakening. You're at a 1.5 now. Excellent. Excellent. So we do have a community, Heartfelt Awakening, and we offer regularly a free masterclass to the members of that group called the Transformation Lab. And from there, we offer a subscription, and that subscription is the individualized custom group work that we do, and we make it very, very affordable for you. So if you're interested in that, definitely send you a message and I will send you the link so you can go and check it out. And if you have any questions at all, let's set up an appointment so I can answer those questions. Our goal was to make it affordable because everybody's being affected, but this work, look what we did. We went from a 7 or 8 down to a 2 or 3. Is this of value to you? Some of the things that happen within the body that science is now seeing, we create a space called coherence. And when you're in the space, vibrational frequency called coherence, it releases those feel-good hormones. These hormones reduce stress, lower our blood pressure, reduce the heart rate, relax the body, relax the belly naturally. And so we create this internal space to begin that healing process instead of being tight in fear on that adrenaline drip of fight or flight, right? And constantly in the state of ready to punch somebody out or begin hoarding stuff, right? So we create just enough space. Now we have some clarity. Now we can see a little bit clearly, and now we can make decisions from here instead of making decisions from a space of fear and anxiety and adrenaline pumping through your body. So this is what we wanted to share with you so that we can begin, even if it's just small groups like this, small groups at a time, because when one or more are gathered in my name, this is where the magic happens. We start to create this space on a collective level. Now, you might be in Washington, you might be in another state, you might be in another country, but this energy doesn't know time or space. It only knows right here, right now. And so we begin to create this space, not only individually, but collectively. And this is where the magic happens. Excellent. Good reminder for me. Excellent. So I want to ask you, darlings, how are you guys doing? I'm going to unmute you guys.
Is that me?
Anybody? Share.
Yeah.
This is Kathy. I'm doing much better.
Nice.
I'm really tired though.
Yes. Yeah. So like we said, the processing will still be happening because remember it oscillates between healing, rest. So definitely, if you can, go take a nap. Let the processing happen. And I'd love to hear from you afterwards.
You will. Thank you.
Awesome. Carrie, Rowan?
Yeah, I'm feeling like just kind of really relaxed and almost like blissed out right now. Like I just had like I just taken some sort of energetic opioid almost.
Yes. And you have everything within the body to create that, without having to actually take it. Perfect. Carrie, how are you doing, darling?
Yeah, me too. I'm just really relaxed.
Very good. So I wanted to thank you for trusting me, because I know a few of you don't know who I am. Who is this person doing this thing? That thank you for trusting me to, your time is precious, but coming on in and doing this work. So I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, your call to action is going to be make sure you're in our group, because that's where a lot of the wonderful, wonderful things that are happening in the group. Excellent. So if there is nothing more, wow. Thank you. Very good.
Yeah. Thanks so much for the great session.
Absolutely. And I will see you tomorrow. And just so you know, a little plug here, we meet every single week in our subscription. We meet weekly on Sundays at 10 a.m. And as the group grows, we'll be adding more time. But if you want to check out that subscription, it's very, very affordable. I can get you the link. And, if you don't do it, great. But if you want to know more, see if this is for you. And the nice thing about the subscription is you can join for a month and then unsubscribe. No hard feelings, nothing. You got what you needed from it. Or you can just keep going month to month. And my assistant is going to be creating a coupon so that it's a reduced price. So definitely, hit me up and I can send you that link. Very good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And thank you for being on this journey with me, and keep being amazing.
Yeah. You keep being amazing too. Have a good evening.